Spring and summer 2024 fashion is all about frills and bows, girly stuff. I'm all in. I found this free summer dress pattern which checks all the boxes. It's the Milana dress by Vikisews and I decided to make it. Hi, welcome to my eclectic channel. My name is Agnes and I make videos for fun. We've been working on the finishing at the waistline. We stitched the bias tape all around it. I have some missing footage here, but we're repeating what we did for the sleeves, and that's in part 8 of this series. Basically, there's understitching of the bias tape to the seam allowance. Then we trim away the excess seam allowance before folding the bias tape over all the raw edges, and we finish by stitching in place. The last step is the top stitching. But before we do that, let's work on this back bodice. It's ugly. So what you want to do is, you'll notice that it's as it's coming off from where the front bodice is at the side seam, it's folding because we have the seam. So you want to continue that. So fold it the way it wants and continue the fold to the edge. And where you have the tie, fold it to where it's flush with the tie. And then you have here a line of stitching to do. And being who I am gonna press this first, then stitch. And here I'm using my blue thread because this is going to show on the right side of the garment. Stitch as close as you can to the side seam. We'll revisit that. So now we are ready to do the top stitching. And what we're going to do here, I'm first going to do the back. And I'm going to start at the side seam on the skirt. And I'm going to stitch until I get to the other side seam, and then I'm going to break my thread. And two things here as we're stitching. One, as you're folding the bias tape under, fold it sufficiently so that it doesn't show. So you want to go a little more so that on the front there's no bias tape showing. Second, when you are working your line of stitching, you want it as close to the edge of the bias tape as you can while securing it in place. Don't go too far. I do that a lot. And then this is going to be flapping in the wind. Because this is going to form the casing for elastic. So we want room between those two lines of stitch. I mean, we want room between the edge and our line of stitching. I'm being a maverick. I'm still working with my right side facing up, but if you're really nervous about missing, because that's kind of precise, go ahead and work on it from the underside so that you can see where you're stitching. I'm going to try and feel mine. We'll see how that goes. All right, so this will work. I succeeded. And on the right side, it looks like that. So far you should have only top stitched the back of the skirt. So before we finish the front, we are going to thread the elastic through the back because we can. We have an opening on either side seams. Now we need to cut our piece of elastic. How long does it need to be? Well, two things need to happen. One, in its relaxed position, the elastic needs to hug your waist in the back, not super tight, but securely. And second, in its fully stretched position, the elastic must allow the dress to pull over your hips and then some. And also you want to add an inch to that for seam allowances. And now we want to thread the elastic through the channel in the back. So what I like to do is to secure one end. So take a safety pin and secure it to the side seam. And then use a threader, or if you don't have one, you can use another safety pin, like a bigger safety pin, and thread it through till we get to the other end. There it is. Ooh! So what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure this end, and this time permanently, or at least it might permanently until this elastic fails next year. Yeah, so I'm going to secure it to the side seam allowance, just a couple stitches going back and forth. Then even it out. Go to the other side and do the same on the other side, like we don't want this to be held by a safety pin. And now finish the front. Fold your bias tape to hide all of that mess we've got going on here, and top stitch in place. We're done. Here is the finished dress. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like.